What if I told you that your anxiety isn't caused by your job, your relationships, or the news cycle? What if the real source of your stress isn't out there at all, but right here, in how you're holding on to things that were never yours to hold in the first place? Modern science is finally catching up to what ancient sages knew thousands of years ago. The secret to peace isn't getting more control over your life. It's learning to let go of the illusion that you ever had control to begin with. In this video, we're going to explore how the ancient philosophy of detachment, what the Bhagavad Gita calls Vairagya, offers a surprisingly practical solution to modern anxiety. I'll show you what neuroscience says about why your brain gets stuck in worry loops, and how a simple shift in perspective can change everything. If you're ready to explore the unknown, hit that subscribe button and join us on this journey. Let me paint a picture. You wake up at 6 a.m., grab your phone, and immediately check email. Your mind starts racing through the day ahead, the meeting at 10, that deadline on Friday, the conversation you need to have with your partner, the bills piling up, your heart rate increases, your jaw tightens, and you haven't even had your coffee yet. This is the American condition. We live in a culture of hustle, where constant productivity is a badge of honor and busyness is a status symbol. But here's what the science tells us. This way of living is literally making us sick. Recent studies from Stanford and Harvard show that chronic anxiety affects over 40 million American adults. It's the most common mental health condition in the country. And while we have more technology, more convenience, more access to information than any generation in history, we're more anxious than ever. Why? Here's the uncomfortable truth. Anxiety isn't really about the external world. Psychologists call it the cycle of overthinking. Your mind latches onto a thought, judges it as threatening, generates more thoughts about that thought, and before you know it, you're trapped in a spiral of worry. As one researcher puts it, our life is shaped by our mind. We become what we think. The ancient wisdom traditions knew this. They understood that the problem isn't the world. The problem is how we relate to the world. And this is where we encounter a paradox. The more we try to control our anxiety, the more it controls us. The more we cling to peace, the more it eludes us. So what if the answer isn't fighting harder? What if the answer is letting go? Let's travel back about 2,500 years to ancient India, where the great sage Krishna delivered a teaching to his disciple Arjuna on a battlefield. But this wasn't just any battlefield. It was the battlefield of the mind. Arjuna was having a full-blown existential crisis. He was anxious, confused, overwhelmed. He had lost his sense of identity and purpose. Sound familiar? Krishna introduced a concept called Vairagya, which we translate as detachment. But this isn't the cold, aloof detachment of someone who doesn't care. In Sanskrit, it means something closer to non-attachment with awareness. It's not about not feeling, but about not clinging. Here's how the ancient sages explained it. Imagine your hand in a fist, clutching a handful of sand. The tighter you grip, the more sand slips through your fingers. This is how we treat life. We grip tightly to things, our identity, our possessions, our plans, our expectations, even our suffering. And the tighter we hold, the more we lose. Vairagya is learning to open your palm. Think of it like a modern smartphone. Your phone is incredibly powerful. But if every app is running at once, overloading the processor, draining the battery, generating unnecessary heat, your mind works the same way. Anxiety is mental overheating because too many apps, too many thoughts, worries, identifications are running simultaneously. The Upanishads, even older texts, introduced the idea of Atman, the eternal soul, the true self beneath all the noise, and they called the illusion of this separate, limited self Ahamkara, the ego, the identifier. What's fascinating is that they saw the ego as the root of all suffering. The ego says, I am this, I am my job, I am my status, I need this to be happy, I can't lose that. Every attachment is the ego clinging to a label, a belief, a possession, an identity. And here's the crucial point. When you identify with things that can change, you become anxious. Why? Because change is inevitable. By identifying with something temporary, you're setting yourself up for a perpetual state of insecurity. The ancient wisdom offers a radical alternative. You are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You are not your job title or your net worth. You are the awareness that observes all of that. The unchanging witness beneath the changing scenery of life. As one spiritual text puts it, a person with steady intellect remains calm amidst pleasure and pain. They are not elated by good fortune, nor disturbed by adversity. This is the state of sthita prajna, steady wisdom, and unshaken mind. And here's the profound part. This is trainable. This isn't just mystical philosophy. It's a practice that modern neuroscience now confirms actually rewires your brain. Alright, so the ancient sages said that detachment from the ego leads to peace. But what does science say? You've probably heard of the default mode network, the part of your brain that's active when you're not focused on a specific task. It's the mind-wandering network, but it's also responsible for self-referential thinking. Basically, this is the neural basis of your identity. It's the I in the center of your mental world. Here's the fascinating part. Studies using brain imaging have shown that in experienced meditators, the default mode network is significantly less active. They've literally changed the physical structure of their brains through practice. In other words, they've down-regulated the part of the brain that creates the self as a fixed thing. This is not spiritual woo-woo. This is neuroplasticity. Your brain is rewiring itself based on your mental habits. What about anxiety specifically? A 2024 study in Frontiers in Psychology analyzed ancient practices from the Vedas and Upanishads and mapped them directly to modern psychological outcomes. The findings? Practices like svadhyaya, self-reflection, nadi sodhana, alternate nostril breathing, and mantra chanting showed demonstrable effects on reducing inner conflict, improving emotional regulation, and lessening overthinking. They also cited a randomized controlled trial where participants taking ashwagandha, an herb used in Ayurveda for over 3,000 years, showed significant drops in anxiety and depression compared to a placebo group. Again, ancient wisdom meets modern science. So what's actually happening here? There's a model from Advaita Vedanta that helps explain it. They describe 3 levels of reality. Pratibhasik, the imaginary level. This is where the ego lives. It's the story your mind tells about who you are, based on memories, fears, and desires. It's real to you, but it's essentially a mental construction. Vyavaharik, the practical level. This is the everyday world where cause and effect operate. It's real in the sense that actions have consequences. Paramarthic, the ultimate reality. This is the direct experience of consciousness itself, unmediated by the mind. Non-dual awareness, where the observer and the observed are one. Anxiety lives in level 1. It's the ego worrying about itself, constructing scenarios that exist only in the mind. Detachment is the process of recognizing that you can operate in level 2, taking action in the world, while maintaining the awareness that you are not the storyline running in your head. Here's the key insight that bridges philosophy and science. When you detach from your thoughts, you're not denying reality. You're stepping back from the interpretation of reality. Your thoughts are like clouds passing through the sky of your awareness. The sky doesn't identify with the clouds. The clouds come, the clouds go, the sky remains. Your anxiety is the weather, but you are the sky. Okay, this is fascinating, but what does it mean for you? How do you actually apply this in the middle of your busy, stressful American life? Here are 3 practical practices you can start today. The noticing practice. Take 5 minutes a day to simply observe your thoughts without engaging with them. Imagine you're sitting by a river, watching leaves float by. Each thought is a leaf. Just watch it. Notice that you are not the leaf. You are the one watching the leaf. This trains your brain to create distance between you and your thoughts. Over time, you'll find that you're less hooked by your own internal drama. The no-effort breath. The ancient text of the Upanishads recommends Dhamma, mind control through breathing exercises. But you don't need anything fancy. Just for 3 minutes a day, focus on your natural breath. Don't try to change it, just observe it. In, out. In, out. When your mind wanders, and it will, gently bring it back to the breath. This is literally the practice of detaching from thought loops and returning to the present moment. The who am I inquiry. When you feel anxiety rising, ask yourself, who is anxious right now? Notice the sensations in your body. Notice the thoughts racing. And then ask, am I this anxiety, or am I the one noticing this anxiety? This is called Atma Vichara, self-inquiry, one of the most powerful practices in the Upanishadic tradition. These are not just spiritual practices, they are practical tools for rewiring your brain. Just like going to the gym builds muscle, these practices build the neural circuitry of calm. Let's bring this together. The ancient sages knew something profound. Your anxiety isn't caused by the world. It's caused by your attachment to a version of the world that doesn't exist. The more you cling to how things should be, the more you suffer. But when you step back, when you realize that you are not your thoughts, not your identity, not your story, something shifts. The grip loosens. The anxiety has less to hold on to. Krishna tells Arjuna, you have the right to perform your duties, but you are not entitled to the fruits of your actions. That's not fatalism. It's freedom. It means you can act fully and passionately in the world, without being enslaved by the outcome. Modern science confirms this isn't escapism. It's training your brain to be less reactive, more resilient, more present. It's the foundation of authentic peace. So here's my question for you. What are you holding on to that's holding you back? What would happen if you opened your palm, just a little, and let some of that grip go? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If this video resonated with you, hit that like button. It helps more people discover this content. Subscribe to Nature and Soul and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss our next video. Next week, we're going to explore what quantum physics has to say about the nature of the soul. We'll dive into the observer effect, the nature of reality, and how the latest science is echoing some of the most ancient spiritual teachings on the planet. Until then, remember, the universe is vast, you are more than you think, and the peace you're seeking is already here. You just have to stop searching long enough to notice it.